Okay, so we are about to start. I am just wondering if you can hear me. This is live. I can see Debbie's here. That's great. Debbie, if you could let me know you're here. Some other people here, I don't know your names. It hasn't come up on my screen, which is fine. We're going to get started in just a moment. We are live, so there is a bit of a delay, and that's cool. Awesome. Great. Let's get going. I love to start on time. So, folks, welcome to the 3 keys to overcoming visibility fears when it comes to stepping up and getting out there with your message. I'm Nicola Grace, the Mission Mentor. I am the founder of the Mission Mastery Academy for Changemakers, which is an online training portal helping changemakers clarify their mission and then get ready and go global so they can make a massive impact in the world. I do have a lot of newbies on here today. I can see I've got some clients here. I've got some people that have been following me for a while, and there's some newbies that have come in through the Facebook ads and what have you. So I want to give you a bit of context about what these monthly trainings are. As part of the Get Ready, Go Global Bronze community, which is like a free community of speakers and messengers and those who want to become them, those who want to get out and be more global and make that big impact in the world. And we get together once a month and pick a topic all about being successful as a speaker and a messenger. And we dive deep into it for about 40 minutes. And then I open up to do some Spotlight Your Mission guidance. And then at the end of it, if any of you are interested in booking a strategy session with me, where I actually start writing some strategies for you and what have you, you can do that. And we'll talk about that towards the end. But I just wanted to let those of you who are meeting me for the first time know that this is an ongoing training that we do. We do a different topic every month. So it's not like other trainings you've been to where it's the same thing that they do over and over again, and at the end there's a big half-hour presentation where they upsell you into a coaching program. I don't do that in these sessions. These are pure content. Let's get something solved together. Let's get you some guidance, and then at the end, if you want to book in for a strategy session, we can do that, but we don't do a big presentation at the end. We want to focus on good content. So that being said, I think this is really important, and I can see the very first word has got a typing error, so that should make you feel really good that you can do a better job than me, but I'm doing it, right? I'm a global speaker. If we don't take action on overcoming our fear of visibility and really getting out there, then people don't get helped and we don't reach our dreams. This is the number 1 and 2 reason why I believe overcoming any visibility fears, any little residual things that we have that are holding us back from really getting out there, anything that's making us procrastinate and not moving forward on our dreams. I think it's so important that we overcome that. And when we overcome that, people get helped and we reach our dreams. So you're in the right place today if you want to help people and you want to reach your dreams. So again, there are a few people here that have never met me before. I'm not going to go into a big spiel about who I am. That was sent in a video that I sent out to you when you enrolled for the webinar. We want to get straight to content in these trainings that we do. But just very, very briefly, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years since I was very young. And I've had 7 different businesses in 7 different industries. I've also been it's actually been 22 years now in online marketing. So I have been around the traps, and I've had cancer twice. So things haven't come that easy to me. I've had to battle through, and I built my own double 6-figure purpose-aligned business. Use, my way, not following a cookie cutter model. And that's what I help people do. I help you find your unique way, and I'm on target to 7 figures. Not that money is the big thing for me, and I know for you it's not. It's more impact and influence, and of which I've had a lot. I've been the mission mentor for over 5 years, and I've consulted with over 1,000 business owners and startups from many different cultures around the world. So today I'm coming to you with mega amounts of experience and also my intuitive ability and my skill in that area to bring you the information that we have today. And a lot of this, in fact, all of what you're going to learn today, and one of the processes that we're going to go through, is something that I've had to come up against in my own journey of being a global speaker. So here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to go into how to gain clarity on the real purpose of your visibility fears so you can easily overcome them with joy and ease. It's probably not what you think. And this is where we're going to start you on a process. If you've come to me because you watched the live stream that we did in Get Ready, Go Global, that's really awesome. We started some strategies there, and now I'm going to give you a real deeper dive into the one thing that's kind of like the linchpin to overcoming your visibility fears. And it's a process you can take away and do on an ongoing basis. We are also going to look at the number one thing you absolutely must have in place to make it easy for you to be a global messenger speaker. And there's no question that you have to have this in place. If you don't have this in place, it's a big thing that you need to fill immediately. And then I've got a step-by-step guide. In fact, it's just a list of things that you need to do to move you through your fears and reaching your dream of making that global impact. And you can screenshot it or write it down so that you can be busy getting all of those things in place. And then if you stay to the end, I'm going to do Spotlight Your Mission Intuitive Guidance at the end of the training. For those of you who are coming to the replay, I only do this live. So we don't do the Spotlight Your Mission readings if you don't come live. It's not that I can't do it. One, this is the time I put aside to do it, and two, I can feel the energy and I can tune in a lot easier, so I can be a lot more accurate if you're actually here and where I'm asking you questions and you're feeding them back to me, and I'm picking up on your energy and so on in real live time. So let's start with number one. How do you gain clarity on the real purpose of your visibility fear so that you can easily overcome them with joy and ease? And it's probably not what you think. Excuse me. Well, how do you do it? You have to dive deeper into your unconscious mind. Because here's the deal. You probably know in your head, in the top of your mind, you go, wow, I'm holding myself back. Oh, I see I'm procrastinating and I'm stagnating, or I'm not taking action on things that I know I need to do. And it's probably because I'm afraid of being humiliated, or like at the top of your awareness, you've probably got a vague idea of what it is that you want to be overcoming. But here's the deal. When you completely match your awareness with your emotions of the fear, it disappears. So if you just have a top of mind awareness on the vague idea of what it can be, it's not going to clear there. We have to dive deeper. We've got to dive deeper into the emotions, and we've got to dive deeper into the belief matrix that's holding it together. And more importantly, we've got to dive deeper into the real purpose of what those visibility fears are, which we are going to do today. We're going to start you on that journey. So if you kind of know why you've got the fear, but they're still there, it means you haven't dug deep enough into the actual cause, because when you've done that and you release it, then it's no longer operational in your field, and it doesn't get you, it doesn't stop you from getting out there and making a bigger impact. So what you really need to do, we've talked about clearing the emotions and the beliefs, but what you really need to be looking for is the lower purpose to what it is that you fear. So what's the lower purpose? And what that means is it's a payoff. So for example, if I had a fear of visibility, and I told this story in my what do you call it, in the Facebook live session we did in the Get Ready Go Global Facebook group, that when I was stepping up to go global, I kept hearing shots fired, and I really feared assassination. And it went on for a couple of years. I literally kept hearing shots fired. So I procrastinated. I was too fearful of getting out there and speaking, and so I didn't do it. Now, there's a payoff to not doing it. So even though I really wanted to go global, and even though I knew it was part of my purpose, I didn't take the action because there was a payoff. So that's kind of like a lower purpose. There is a purpose for me being fearful of visibility, right? And when you know what that purpose is, it starts to dislodge it because you're starting to now bring awareness to the situation. And then from there, you look at, well, what's the higher purpose of this? Because this is something that has really freed me up in certain challenges that I've got in my business over the last couple of months, like really recently. And that is that while there's a payoff, so the payoff would be that I stay safe, right? And I won't get shot and I won't get assassinated. That's the lower purpose, right? So the lower purpose is to keep me safe, specifically by keeping me out of harm's way of getting shot. So when you look at, well, what is the higher purpose of that? What is the real purpose of you having this experience, this experience of being kept safe? And when you dig down into the higher purpose of it, you're always going to find that it leads you to some level of self-awareness and enlightenment within who you are. So, for example, one of the things that I discovered is that my soul had put this fear in place so that I would learn that I'm an omnipotent being, and that I can be in the right place at the right time, and that I'm highly intuitive, so I can be in the right place at the right time, so I can be in a state of personal power. So there's my enlightenment. There's me having a higher purpose for this payoff that I have to go through in order to get there. And so when you know what the higher purpose is, you can actually start doing the work to become that omnipotence, to become, that person that trusts that you're always in the right time at the right place, so that your intuition is never going to lead you to situations of danger. And when you practice that, as well as clear the lower payoff, then you're actually achieving what your soul wants you to achieve to move forward and pick up momentum. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you find out what the lower purpose payoff is, and then what's the real higher purpose? Like, what are you supposed to be gaining from this in terms of a level of enlightenment or self-realization? And then get about realizing that, get about that self-realization, because that will form part of the light that makes that lower purpose disappear. So here's an example again. You might fear being in public because you fear humiliation, because when you were at school, you were humiliated. I was made the dunce on my first day at school because I was naughty because I was writing in my exercise book. So I had that fear of being humiliated. So a lot of us had that fear of being humiliated, and it holds us back from being speakers. Or certainly has us procrastinating a lot and making the pathway struggle. So the lower purpose is then to keep you safe from being humiliated. So an example of what the higher purpose would be, and like what is the true, would be to realize the true nature of who you are. So when you know the true nature of who you are, it doesn't matter if people point the finger at you. It doesn't matter if people humiliate you or try to humiliate you. You don't experience humiliation because you know who you are, and you know that that's just them, right? And what people think about me is none of my business, sort of thing. So then now you're entering into that enlightenment realm of infinite possibilities, right? Being humiliated is one possibility, and feeling crappy about it is one possibility. Another possibility is that you get humiliated, or people try to humiliate you, but you never experience the humiliation because you know who you are, and what they say can't affect you. And that's another possibility. Another possibility is that people won't humiliate you. So when you come into that enlightenment realm where there are infinite possibilities that can happen when you get out and go global, and so you're going to choose to focus on the great positive possibilities, you begin to dislodge this lower purpose, because now you're achieving the higher purpose and you don't need the lower purpose to get you there. Does that make sense? That lower purpose is there to get your attention, so you do the work to get to the higher purpose. So if you just go straight to the higher purpose, you don't have to go through the lower purpose. It gets dissolved just by you achieving what your soul wants you to do at a higher level. Does that make sense? Excuse me. So what are you trying to achieve in this fear? This is a process you can do, and we can do this right now. You write down one of the fears that you have. You may have the fear of assassination like me, or, if you've got past life witch hunt stuff going on. You want to find out what the goal is. This is the process. So you write down what is the fear and how is it manifesting. So I'm procrastinating against picking up the phone and calling people to get some speaking gigs, right? Because I'm fearful that they're going to reject me. So that would be the goal. That would be the fear. That would be how it manifests. So then you have a look at, well, what's the goal of that procrastination? So whatever it is that's manifesting, what is the goal? So the goal is to keep me from being rejected so I don't feel sad or I don't feel upset, right? So that's what you want to do. The process is you go down into that goal. What is that goal? Then you ask the question, what will I experience when I transcend this experience? So when I transcend the experience of fear of rejection, right? I don't want to be rejected. What will I experience when I transcend it? So if I look at the higher purpose of that is probably to, people to come into that state where you really know that beings have a right to choose. And just because they don't choose you doesn't mean that you have been rejected. It just means they haven't chosen you. So if my higher purpose is to realize that I need to transcend this fear of rejection by realizing that I can't be rejected because I'm so secure within myself, and I grant all beings the right to choose. And if they don't choose me, that's totally fine. So what would I experience? I would experience freedom. I would experience, you see, this is a process I'm walking you through, right? I would experience, what else would I experience? I would experience freedom. I would experience joy. I would experience speed, because if somebody doesn't choose me or, so-called rejects me, I would move on fast rather than contemplating my navel and feeling sorry for myself. So I would have speed of recovery. What else would I experience? So this is what you want to do for yourself. Excuse me. I've got a really dry throat today. Interesting that I start coughing at this stage, right? So you might want to go over write this down or screenshot this and go over this particular process so that you can do it over and over and over again with all of the different fears, having a look at the goal and of i.e. the lower purpose, and what is that lower purpose, what is that goal, and then what's the higher purpose, and then how what will I experience when I transcend this experience. So you know what your soul is moving towards, like what does your soul really want you to experience. And usually it's freedom, it's freedom of choice, it's allowance of other souls, to do what they will do if the fear happens to be the fear of rejection. And a lot of speakers and messengers have that fear. So on top of that, how else you overcome those fears is to understand that when you feel an emotion that comes up over and over again, like every time you do something, you have an emotion and you have this repetitive emotional pattern. It's because that emotion is seeking resolution. So the pattern will repeat until you've resolved the emotion and the beliefs that are attached to it. So you'll have an emotional package of energy and there'll be some beliefs that attach to it. So when you clear the beliefs and you clear the emotion, you also clear the pattern. It's as simple as that. And actual fact, it's not as simple as that because there are often layers to that. But that's another thing that you need to be doing. So I'm going to go through what you can do to start doing all of this clearing work when we get to the step-by-step process on what you need to do. But for the now, one of the things that I always say to my clients and everything on how you free yourself from all of these is you've got to put in the daily work of a process. And I first learned this from Robert Kiyosaki when I was in his sales team way back in the late 80s or early 90s it was. And he said, if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you need to clear. You need to be clearing. You need to be clearing every day, because there is a lot of challenges and a lot of stuff that comes back at you. And if you don't clear the pathway, then you will be stuck in the challenges and you'll never succeed. So he planted that seed in me. And then about 5 years ago, I met Brian Tracy, and Brian Tracy said something similar to me. He said, one of the secrets to my success is that every morning and every night I had a routine where I would overcome any of the emotional or challenges or the beliefs that came up during that day. In my journey, I didn't wait to clear them. I call it a power hour, right? So you need to establish that. Otherwise, I mean, it just could take you a really long time to get to where you want to be, if you get there at all. And then take consistent action. Take consistent action on the clearing, and take consistent action on getting ready to go global, and then getting out there and actually just doing it. I also think it's important to work with a clearing practitioner. I have 4 that I work with for various different reasons, and they do different types of techniques. And I think that if you go to see somebody, they're helping you see the blind spots that you can't see, so they move you forward further, faster. And that's something else that Robert Kiyosaki told me. It's like, pick your clearing practitioner and do the work. And then if that clearing practitioner isn't helping you, or the pattern, like I've had 30 clearing sessions on that fear of being shot and assassinated, and it still didn't shift. I got more enlightened, and I certainly felt better, and I got more in tune with myself, but it didn't shift the pattern. It means you need to change what you're doing. You need a different process. That process isn't the one that's going to get you to breakthrough. And you might have to try several different processes. That's why it's good to have several different processes up your arm. So when one isn't working and moving, you go to another, and you kind of circle it in your strategy to bust free from it. So number 2, and this, you can do all the clearing, but if you don't have this number 2 thing in place, you're still not going to make progress. And this has to do, got to help you to be a messenger speaker. And this can also help you overcome the visibility fears too. And that is, you need a vision with a strategy. Now, if you have a clear vision and then you have a strategy on how you're going to get there, it can alleviate fear, because in strategic rollouts, you don't start with the scariest thing. You start with the easiest thing that you can do right now, so you can start getting some progress and you can start picking up some momentum. And then as you grow that momentum can snowball and actually help you bust through the fears just by being in action. So if you don't have a strategy, so start with a vision board. It's really good to, have pictures of you speaking, pictures of other speakers, the places you want to speak, where you want to be, you happy, like pictures of you in there that's really happy. So now you're telling your subconscious mind that you're not fearful of being a speaker, being a messenger, getting out there, going global in the world. You're actually happy, and these subliminal messages that you're sending are helping with that. They're helping your subconscious mind understand that it's going to be okay. And then you put a 5-year strategic plan in place. And a strategic plan starts with a vision, and then your mission, and then the strategy, which means in the first quarter, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to achieve. Here are my goals. And then in the second quarter, this is what I'm going to do. And then this over the year, and then in 3 years, this is what I'm going to do, and what we're going to focus on. And then here is my plan to make those strategies come alive. Right? So now you know what those actions are. And when you write your strategic plan down in this way, it does a couple of things. It tells the universe what you want, so you know what it needs. It needs to it's like a recipe. Here's my recipe. Go out there and bake this cake for me. And then secondly, as I mentioned before, it helps alleviate the fear, because you're just going to step it one step at a time, and you know what you're going to be doing, right? Because if you just have an idea that you want to go global, you want to make a bigger impact, but you haven't got that strategic plan in place, then you're just a dreamer. And you might be taking action, but you're dreaming because you're not taking the one critical action that you need to take to make it all happen, and that's make sure that you've got a strategic plan in place. So what happened, and the reason for this is because there's no terminal to attract and move. So you had this idea, you get it out of your head, you put it into a strategic plan, so it's physical. You've got a vision board, so it's physical. So you've got a terminal for everything to get attracted to. If it's just an idea floating around in your mind, it doesn't have enough gravity to start attracting people that would support you in that, ideas that would help you in that, epiphanies that would help take you forward, right? You've got to have that terminal to create the mass or the gravity that's going to allow things to gravitate towards you, and also allow the right people to come towards you, the right resources to come towards you to actually make it happen. So how do you create a terminal? Well, a vision board. I said that before. A strategy, writing down what your strategy is, and then a plan. How are you going to make that strategy happen? How do you bring that strategy alive? So that's why we call it a strategic plan. The strategic plan has both the strategy and then the plan to make the strategy come alive. And then this is your menu that you send to the universe. You have your strategy plan and off you go. Now, here's the deal. This can work and create movement in your life overnight sometimes within a couple of hours, because this is how the whole law of attraction thing works, right? When I was doing my revision of my goals, my strategic plan and what have you, I was coming up to my 50th birthday, and I realized that I had a goal to write a book when I was 50. Now, I had already written a book when I was 30, became a bestseller, so I was already a best-selling author. And then I remembered, gosh, well, I've already done that, but I kind of feel like it's time to write another book. So I changed my strategic plan, and I put in there, I'm going to have a goal to write a book in the next year, so that within the year of my 50th birthday, I can launch a book and bring it to bestseller. And then I left it, and I walked down the beach. I was living on the Gold Coast in Australia at the time, and I went down on the Gold Coast, and I did a walk on the beach to clear my head and just, you know, connect with nature and what have you, because it was a Sunday afternoon, which is what I love to do on a Sunday. And then I came back to my computer, and I don't normally check my emails on a Sunday, but I just thought, I'll check my email. And then I kid you not, in that email, it said, let me help you get to bestseller in 6 months. And it happened to be an email from a mentor of mine that was doing a program to help you write your book and get you to bestseller guaranteed. And so I joined that program, and within 6 months, I became a bestseller. So it's kind of like, how did universe know to send that email at exactly that right time when I needed the pathway to get towards it? Now, here's the kicker. Whether that email had arrived, had I not put that in, you know, that I wanted to be a best-selling author within the next year in my strategic plan, and it might have, but it might have landed in the junk folder, or it might have, and I might not have ever taken up the opportunity because I wouldn't have seen it because it wasn't on my radar. So this is how fast things can happen when you put your strategic plan together, right? It's so important to get that done. You've got that terminal for the attractor factor, and that can help you bring the resources that will help you get there, the people, the opportunities. So you keep an eye out for that once you've put that strategic plan in place. And then step 3 is to work the program. Take the steps one at a time to move through your fear, move through your strategic plan, so you can reach your dream of making the global impact. So here are the steps. Number 1, strategy. Put the strategy in place. Now, here's something else that I haven't mentioned about a strategy. When you write your strategy, sometimes it can actually shake loose the fear. So you want to have a plan that helps you get the strategy in place so you can step by step do it, and at the same time, identify your fears and clear them step by step. right? Every time you take a step, new fears are going to come up. So you keep identifying them as you're going through them, you clear them, and you can do this very easily if you establish a morning and an afternoon routine. And then you start your clearing program so that that strategy plan to life. And then you execute the plan and you just execute it step by step. And then here's an important thing. You need accountability. Most people do. I need accountability. I'm highly disciplined, but I still need to be held accountable. And whenever I want to grow, I'll always do something significant to get better accountability. Like just recently, I signed into a partnership agreement to enter all my products onto a platform to get in front of 1 million entrepreneurs. Now, I knew it was a huge leap for me, but I committed because I knew that that would give me the accountability to actually get it done. And if you get it done, you get the result. If you don't get it done, you don't get the result. And that's what I do every single time I've got a big goal. I will go and work with a mentor, make a commitment to work with a mentor, make a commitment to a partnership, make a commitment to an event, make a commitment to something that then kind of forces me to actually get ready for it and be prepared for it. I make sure I've got some plan in place that gives me the accountability. Otherwise, you're just going to go around in circles procrastinating. If you never commit to anything, it won't ever happen because it just can't happen, right? You've got to put all the right things in place to make it happen. And getting accountability is one thing. So that's joining a mastermind, hiring a coach, reaching out to somebody that's going to help, push you through. Whatever that looks like for you, making a commitment to show up and do something. So then you've got to get something done. All of those kind of things that you can be doing for yourself. Joining networks is really important for global speakers because most of the speaking gigs these days are getting through word of mouth referral. So if you're not in a mastermind group, if you're not in a network, then you're not in the right place to get those speaking gigs. It makes it very difficult for people to get you, know who you are, know what you're offering, and then offer opportunities for you to speak. And join a mastermind. Totally important these days because if you're not, your competition is, and they've got the edge over you. Super, super important. I'm a member of 1, 2, 3, 4 masterminds at the moment, all on different things, one on marketing, one on building my global speaking business, one on generally building my business, and another one on how to market the digital part of my business. So I'm going to these masterminds, I'm participating, I'm networking with the people that are there. I've got people that I'm doing joint ventures with from these masterminds, so I'm not building my business alone. And day after day, I'm not on my own. I've actually got the resources to call upon to help me. Get a business coach. We've talked about that. I think that's really important. If you don't have a business coach, your competition does, and it's highly competitive out there now in the speaker training industry, in the coaching industry, in the consulting industry. And we've got robots on our tail that are starting to do some damage to our industry as well. So if you don't have the right business coach for you, and by business coach, I'm not talking about a program. I'm talking about a coach for a year, 2 years, 3 years, who's stepping you through every phase of growth in your business. And then work your plan in hand with the clearing. So I want you to screenshot this if you haven't written it down, because this is what has helped me get to where I am, and it's helping me get to where I'm going as well. You just work it. You work each step, and if something's not working for you, you go to these steps and you go, what am I not doing? What am I missing? Things aren't happening for me because I haven't got this in place, and then go get it in place. Now, here's one of the problems that you're going to run into. Most people have no clue how to write a strategic plan. Right? No clue. And even if you download a free template off the internet, you can. There's so much in it that you go, well, I don't know how to do that. So I don't know how to write this part. I don't know how to fill this in because I don't know how to do it. And most people don't know how to do so many things that are needed to put into the strategic plan. The promotion, the marketing, getting speaking gigs, and so on and so forth. So they can't actually create the strategic plan. And then most people don't know how to dive deep into where the various elements are, or what the fears are, and how to identify them, least of all have a system or processes to overcome them, right? So this is where you want to step forward and get help from somebody, right? And if it's me, you resonate with me, that's great. If it's not, find somebody else, that's cool. But this goes back to my slide back here. You've got to join a mastermind, get a business coach, and have a clearing program that you're working, because your competition has it. And if you don't have the edge over them, and they're in front of your target audience getting all of the work. So that means that most people plod along trying to figure things out on their own with frustrated dreams. And the statistics are increasing on this. 90 to 95% of people in business in general never make it to create enough money to live off of it. That means that there is 10% succeeding. And when you look at the people who are succeeding, they will tell you, I hired a mentor. I got help every single step of the way. I didn't try to figure this out on my own because I wanted to get further faster. So I'm going to help you out if you resonate with me and you want to just spend some time with me helping you figure your strategy out. I am an award-winning strategist, designed the strategy that saved $1 billion industry. As many of you know, I did that within 6 months, and the industry was not able to do it in 7 years. And I've done over 1,000 strategies now, so I can actually help you with your strategy. And you can book that over at nicolagrace.com/strategy. And I'm going to help you clarify the best direction for you to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. We're going to identify where you need to get aligned so that we can properly get you on the right path. We're also going to identify blocks, visibility fears, and beliefs in the way of you playing a bigger game. And we're going to plot out the strategy that's going to help you get there and the initial steps in your plan to reach that vision. And you also get a bonus of my strategic document template, which is valued at $1,200. I spent more than that to get this template done and then get a company help me put it together. And I'm going to give that to you so you can just fill in the blanks after we have done those initial steps of your strategy. And then you can have that forever for anything that you want to do in your business. You just go to that template and use it forever and ever and ever. And I'm going to make it a real no-brainer for you. It's a 30-minute session with me, usually $350, today $97. And I've got the link. I'm going to put the link in here for you, and you just need to click that there to book it. Hopefully, those of you on the replay, you can do it. And we're going to get you started. Now, here's how it works. Once you've booked your strategy session, I'm going to send you an email that has a link for you to then fill out a document that has a clarity assessment on there. That comes to me, and so make sure you put your email in it too, so it comes to you, so I can prepare for the session. I'm going to have a look at your business. I'm going to have a look at your social media profile, and I'm going to come prepared. So when we get together, I am just going to be downloading like nobody's business. And people often find that just within a half an hour, I've had people stop after half an hour going, wow, that's a year's worth of work, right? So I'm downloading. Remember, I'm an award-winning strategist, so I've got this. I've got this handled for you, and I'm just going to help you figure things out that you may be missing, or you've not been able to figure out for yourself. Now, for those of you who want to upgrade and have an hour session with me, plus you're going to get my Passion with Purpose course, which helps you dive deep into certain elements of your passion, figure out who your niche market is, figure out your niche message in alignment with your purpose and what have you. That would be normally $987, and you can get that today for $500, going to the exact same link. And this is how it works. You'll go to the payment schedule and you'll see this little blue button that you can click on, and that will add a bump of $500. And what you're going to get with that is you're going to get an extra half an hour of my time. Actually, you get an extra hour, because the course has clarity assessments that I'm going to have you do. You're going to go through those assessments, and they get emailed to me. Then I'm going to do some prep work. So when we come together for the hour, we're going to go into the elements of your purpose, elements of your messaging, figuring out, who is your niche market, your niche messages, to just get that honed in on. So when you speak, the market hears you and they want to buy from you. That's what's valuable at doing this bump at this really super duper cheap price today. And then we will put the strategy in place. So we'll do this discovery work first, and then we'll do the strategy at the end of the call. But you will be filling stuff out and doing stuff on your own to get some clarity for yourself before we meet, so that I can put more time into it and help you more get further faster. So I just wanted to show you this really cool photo that a friend of mine took with some Carillion photography, to show you what my third eye was like. And he said, if you see that big hole over in there, he said that is all open, like your whole forehead is open, because you have highly psychic abilities. And you'll see the throat chakra is really open there as well too, around the throat, because I'm a communicator. And we love this because there are a lot of people who claim to be psychic and everything, but they're not fully open to all of the perils of the psychic world, where you can get misinformation, you can be looking at the wrong template, and so on and so forth. So I thought that it was great that if I show you this is actual some kind of new agey proof, let's say it, that I have that ability and I have that skill, which I inherited from my mother, and that it's been honed in over the years. Used it to save $1 billion industry. Used it for people of Fortune 500 companies that were going to go public. Used it for somebody who I helped get into Parliament in Australia. Used it for some really high level people, and now I would really like to help you and use it for you. So you want to make the most of this opportunity, and all you need to do is decide, do you spend some time with me getting your strategy in place, looking at those visibility fears, what they are, what those blocks are, and putting some strategies in place, and specifically on how you're going to overcome them. Or the other session where we're going to dive deep into your purpose and passion within your speaker messenger business, to clarify some things about your message and your mission and your market and all of those kind of juicy things, so that we can get you well on your way to being in front of the audiences you need to be in front of to make that difference. So in the side there, this is resonating with you and you think you want to take me up on that opportunity, you can just book your strategy session by clicking the link below. And I am going to go into the Spotlight Your Mission reading. So if anybody would like me to give some intuitive guidance on anything that's top of mind awareness, challenge or issue, or some insight that you want right now, now's the time to put that into the chat box. And I am going to come out in front of the PowerPoint. So I think if I turn my screen off and then I turn my, yep, look at that. Here we have neon webcam, and if anybody wants to spotlight your mission reading, and a lot of the times I offer these and people get really shy, but you shouldn't be. Ask away. It takes a few moments for me to get the questions coming through on that side box. So if you want to ask me anything, now is the time. Otherwise, I am going to go for the day and just ready for the replay to send you the replay. So much juicy stuff in here. Let's have a look. Anybody coming through? I'll just do a refresh. Otherwise, if you've got any questions, want some help, want to, ask any questions about the material or what my coaching programs are and what have you, Nicola at nicolagrace.com is my there. Nicola at nicolagrace.com. If you're watching this on the replay, you'll see a question and answer box there, and you can just put that question and answer box in. It comes into my email, and I can help you with that via email. So thanks so much for showing up today, and thanks so much for showing up to the replay. And I will see you all next month. I think next month is, I can't remember what the topic is next month, but it's something to do with strategy and rolling it out. I think it might be promotion plan. I can't remember. You who are in the Get Ready Go Global community, you can, oopsie daisy, you can see the email that has a list of all of the trainings. If you're not in the community, it's free. and you get this free training. And Get Ready, Go Global. There you go. Boom. You can go there and sign up for it and get an email to come to the next training. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye for now.